Listen, I cannot believe that you guys are here with me today. As you can tell, I have a guest, and I'm super excited about Tatiana here with me. How are you doing?
I'm doing so fabulously now that I'm here with you, Strick. It's a very exciting part of the journey to be here tonight.
That is awesome. As you can tell, I just like to go on and start talking, and that's what I normally do. But if you're here watching us and you got the alert and you're seeing, hey, in Discord and on YouTube from the alerts that Strick is on with the stream show, I want you to come on and please hit me up in the comments. I would love to see you guys. Well, I already have like 3 thumbs up. Like, that's great.
That's
It's been a
fabulous. Good.
while. Last week, we actually. I had to. Let me just do that one. Oh man, it's all over the place. Make sure I put my messages
Hey.
where I want to be.
Hi, James.
That's James. So definitely shouts out to you, James. Hello to you, and hopefully, as people come on, we'll have more people like James saying, "James, tell me where you're from as well." We got thumbs up going all over the place, and I am getting used to moving this around. I have it where I want it now. Tatiana, I actually had an opportunity to, it's been more than a year, probably two right now, where you came onto the stream show in the comments, just like James now, and you were very engaging, very a part of the conversation. James says he's from Nebraska. Big shouts out to you, James, and thank you for watching all the way in Nebraska. As you were coming in on a constant basis, you were learning, but you also engaged inside of the comments. What was the mindset behind making sure that you gave comments even when you were watching the show?
If I remember correctly, that particular stream was you and Kirk Nugent were talking, and you were talking about tools that content creators need, or AI tools that we need. And there were
Right,
so many amazing things you guys were sharing. So I'm taking notes because I want to learn. And
right.
then I thought, hey, if I'm already taking notes, why not pop them in the comments and they'll be helpful for everybody. And I know that was something you really appreciated. And so it
Oh, yeah.
felt like a warm and friendly connection to have. And I know that you're super into educating yourself, educating and teaching and learning. So it just felt like a similar mindset. I call myself a lifelong learner, and I felt like you were in that same club.
I am definitely in that lifelong learning club. I'm learning how to talk day by day. But man, we got people in from Fort Lauderdale. That's what's up, man. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Um, as
Ecamm.
people, I don't think that you, at any point, as a content creator or someone that is, especially when you're going live, get used to people making comments. Like this is a big deal for people wanting to spend their time with you, wanting to comment on what you're doing. So when people are there and they feel like they're engaging, you are helping take notes that day, making sure that we stayed on top of what we were doing because we said we were giving 5 or 10, and we ended up giving like 15 or 20, and
I know,
that.
yes, you definitely over delivered.
Right. But it was one of those things that it really helped us. And I appreciate when people are in the comments actually helping us do it. And James here is definitely right. I've watched you on Anna and Fulgen's show, and you win all the prizes. I'm the guy that says when they start the prizes, I say I win, and I never win anything. But Tatiana wins all the games. Like you just need to display some of the things that you actually won, being a part of the Ecamm fam and working
I
with.
should do that.
Yeah, it should
That, you know
just
what?
really
That's a good
display
idea
it.
for a post, just a little mini short where here are all my winnings. And like my as like pirates, they have their treasure. Like here are all my Ecamm treasures.
You should
Well,
do
I
that
was I
because
was on
people
a
will
roll.
really want to know.
And I can't explain to you exactly why. I was on a winning streak. Never in my life have I experienced that. Very rarely have I ever won prizes. And it's all fair and square, It's like here's the answer, the first one to answer, and then after a while, it's like I'm just gonna stop participating because I
You
would like
should not stop.
other people
Don't
to have a
stop.
chance to.
Don't stop. Don't stop. It is one of those things that everybody's there. Uh, to have fun. And if you win, you win. It's a part of the game. So Tech Troublemaker is hanging out with us today, saying hello to
Hey,
everybody. Hello to
Roy.
you.
What's up?
And yes, it is great to see a live reaction to this truth. It is very, very true. Uh, that being said, Tatiana, has been a while for me. I kind of like took some of the summer off from doing the stream show. Sunday nights got to be a really, really big deal for me. Like I
I hear
needed
you.
the rest. I needed the rest, and my wife, she is a jazz flutist, a smooth jazz flutist, and she was doing tours during the summer, and we just kind of slowed down. I had to jump back into the Ecamm fam to make sure people didn't forget the stream show and what we were doing. So, what's going on, Ecamm fam? Definitely good to
Hey,
see you
guys.
here. And
That's a very cool
another
name,
one.
Kerwin.
Yeah, let me pull that back up because I didn't say his name, but Kerwin, yeah, yeah, yeah. Cornell, that's what's up. And F.L. Miller, and I guess I'll get that right too. I guess that's what that is. Really, really cool name.
Unless his name is Flu. We don't know.
That's probably a little
I'm
better,
teasing. I'm
but
sure it's
that
FL. I'm just
that
joking.
with Miller could be a little odd. Uh huh. So the question is, before we even get started, James here kind of knows how it goes, and he's got the cue with the colon strict. What TV screen do you have in your background? So it is a TV screen, and I will tell you what it is. I'm not recommending it. Okay.
Okay.
So you know how sometimes you buy something and you get it and you set it up and you put holes in the wall and you hang it and you just cannot take it back? That's the
Mm-hmm.
deal. This is a Philips
Mm.
television behind me, so it's more of an Android and not like some of the other ones that are really, really sensitive to iOS devices. I can do things back here, but it's not as connected to um, my Apple or my Mac Mini as I would like it to be. So I'm having to do some extra stuff. So I don't recommend it because of that, but there are tons of televisions out there that you can get. Make sure you do all the resolutions that you want.
A-
Um,
And
I'm
I'm not gonna lie, Strick. When I saw that you put up the because you didn't always have that up.
I didn't.
That
I
wasn't
didn't.
always there. When you did that, I was like, ooh, maybe I have room for a TV over
Just
here
never
too.
know.
And then I
So
was like, one step at a time, one step at a time.
So with that, I had a great set. I really did. There's a TV beside me, so I used to kind of catty corner my show to show a little bit of the television. And there's more than one way of doing your set. And then I had to learn how to do it because I did have it backed out, and you could see the corners and the bottom. Now you can see the top and the bottom, but I brought my desk a little closer so
Hmm.
you see the majority of the television. Let me see if I can get
Hmm.
to this screen here and see if you can see what it looks like. Um, yeah, so it's a tighter shot. Let me come out a little bit more. Ah, I can't get to it. Never mind. I got so many screens here open. I can't get to it, but you can see the gist of what it looks like. And
Totally.
you just kind of have to be creative. There's more than one way of doing it. And Tatiana, guess what? You look great.
Thank
I
you. Thank
love
you
the
very
set.
much.
I love the
Thank
set, and I
you.
appreciate you doing a little bit of the blue teal for the stream show. Make it look like what we have going on. I
That's
have
right.
to say this. You look beautiful tonight. Crystal clear image. Can you tell us? I can definitely see the microphone,
Mhm.
MV7, right?
You got
For
it.
sure. And then
Sure,
what kind
MV7.
of camera and lens are you using?
All right, here's what I'm working with. And I have posted pictures, I believe in Ecamm as well as on my social media about what I see. And I should have had a picture ready to show tonight. But I've got a Mac Mini is my new acquisition. And I
Did
was
you do an
coming over
M1
from,
or M2?
oh shoot, I
Mac
believe I did
Mini.
M2. I did
Okay.
M2.
Okay, that's my recommendation for Mac
Yes,
Minis.
I
If
definitely did
anybody
M2.
wants to know, the M2 is the way to go. Why am I saying that? If you're using Ecamm, the isolated video and audio will take a little bit of power, and you want to be sure that you give it the best that you can. So the M1s will do it, but I recommend stepping up to the M2 to actually do that, and the 16 gigabytes, all of that, so you know you have enough. I'm not taking away from anybody with an M1. I'm just saying if you're going to buy now, get the M2 and make sure you get the 16 gigabytes. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. No problem, no problem. Interject anytime. So
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
upgrading from an iMac 2012 desktop, which is right over here to my right, and that's what I was running Ecamm on that, but
Mhm.
there are things I could not do. I could
Right.
not have isolated video tracks or anything because it just and the system was running slow and I knew it. I'm like, one of these days it's just gonna crash and I don't want to be in that position. So this computer has been very good to me. It's 2023. This computer's from 2012. So
Wow.
I still have it. I cleared off all of the major programs and just kept the essentials on it so I could lighten the load on her.
Right.
You know, like I said, she's been so good to me. I just want to lighten her load in her old age, but she's still with me. And what I did was bought got the new Mac Mini. You know, thanks so much to Ben. It was hooking me up for my birthday. He knew I needed one, and this was a great addition. And now I have the Sony ZV-E10 connected to that, and then I have two monitors, and one right here and one to my left. So I've
Uh
got.
huh.
Let me just bring my hand. So it's like a one here, and then my iMac desktop. So I have three screens essentially, but one is a totally separate computer, my old computer, and then the Mac Mini with the Sony ZV-E10. And before this content creation world, I was a photographer and videographer.
That's
So
cool.
many of the principles carry over. Lighting is lighting, and because I
Right.
did video too, I had video lights. The problem is when I started doing it, the video lights were the size of or are the
Yeah.
size of windows,
Yeah.
so they're
Yeah.
humongous. So I'm using my smallest light in here plus another light, but I soften it with like these sheer curtain like things so it diffuses the light a bit
Uh
so it's
huh.
not so harsh on me. But I'm a firm believer in use what you've got. I
That's
don't like
true.
to waste things. So because I had all the equipment from photography and video, like doing videos the way I was doing them is not the same as doing live streaming. It's a different set of skills.
That's true.
But so much of it carries over. So at least the equipment, and then I got a lot of desk mounts because I like things to be clean and uncluttered. So desk mounts to lift things off the desk and just have things look a bit cleaner. But it's always a work in progress, and I want to upgrade. We're brainstorming on what I want to do in the back here because I do want it to feel like I have my lenses and things here, but you can't really tell what those are. So I want it to feel warmer. The way that I see content creation is like this is where I live. This is my
Right.
home. So I'm inviting you into my home. And
Right.
if you guys were all coming with me, right? If all of you guys in the chat, Strick, you guys were all coming over to my house, I would greet you with a drink. It would smell good. It would look good. Like, and I'm trying to brainstorm. How can I recreate that warmth, that inviting feeling here in my background? So this is where my head is at. See what are we gonna do? So this is and I like this. This is still to me, it's good quality, it's good,
Right.
but I'm working on making it more personal.
That is so. In your mind, do you have anything that you say, "Hey, I have to," because I like your setup, and this is what I want to tell people. First of all, you have a great setup, Tatiana. I understand you want to go to the next step and whatever that may be. Um, as you are making content that people love, you will always grow. All right, you will always grow. Now, I love the
Mm.
bookcase. Why is the bookcase important to you? Because you're a teacher, right? You're an adjunct teacher, right? Professor.
And, and because I love books.
And because you love books. So we know that we want to keep the bookshelf in the shot. And the other side, you have cameras, right?
hmm I
So
have
what
my
is
lenses, camera, some
okay, I'm
lights.
gonna go full screen here so we can see that. All right. So
So
because of the distance that they
this is
are,
my Canon camera with the lens. These are some other lenses back here.
Got it.
and here. I'm finally getting the hang of, like, reverse to me, it's
That's
in
really good. That's really
I'm
good
like,
because I
"Well, that's
can't do
actually
that.
pretty good." Usually, I would be like, "Look over here," and I'm actually
Right,
trying to
right,
point
right.
over there.
That's really
Oh,
good.
yes,
So
and, I forgot
what
to
is the
mention,
circle back there? What's the circle back there?
the circle
It
is
looks like it's
this thing?
I no closer to you. It look like an oval line. I'm seeing a
Let me know if
line here
am I
like a
getting
circle.
warmer?
No, come
Warm
back, come back, come back, come back, come back, and then go up.
this circle
Oh,
half circle looking sphere
uh-huh,
thing?
uh-huh, uh-huh.
It's actually a plant stand it's 2 half circles. So let me see if I could move my camera a bit so you can see it more. So it's 2 half circles, and, it has little shelves for plants, but some of the shelves is where I have my other equipment
Uh-huh.
too.
Got you. Got you. Now, if you were
'Cause I also
asking,
like plants.
now if you were asking me, I know there's a door behind you, but if you
Yes.
were in the middle of that circle, that would be a really, really nice shot. To me, to me. Now I know that you have to rearrange everything and all of that,
Mhm.
but you are in
Mhm.
a good space because you're also going from a lighter side to a darker side and you're kind of in the middle of that gradient. It looks good if you stay in between the door and the oval thing, like you're right there. Um, yeah, you're there. That's it. I don't know
I
what do
usually
you
try to
think
stand
about
over
that?
here to, like I'm open, like, I'm experimenting. There are some key things that I like, I love cafe lights, right? This is
Uh-huh.
just something no matter where in the world where I see them, it makes me happy. And so I wanna include things because here's what I learned too. There's what looks good on camera, and then there's what I like to see, and I want it to be both. I want to love what I see and have it look good in the background. Because sometimes it's like, "Oh, this looks really good, but I don't get to look at this." I'm looking
Right.
over here. So it's about a sense of creating a space that I enjoy and love being in, and also is great for video, working
That's
within
good.
the constraints of the room too.
Right.
So
Working
it's
within, yeah.
and everybody, all of you guys, I'm sure this is the same thing for every single one of you. Whatever the spaces that you're creating, you probably think about these things too.
And I had, yes, my office was like my wife's office because of all of her plaques and stuff. And I wanted to change it up a little bit. But I do feel like if you were in between the circle and the door in that space in between, you would give a nice contrast. That's just my recommendation. That being said, I do have a couple things here. Um,
Which I love that idea, Strict. The problem is that for the placement, I don't the desk space to get there doesn't work out.
in front of you, like the desk, you would have to rearrange your desk where you couldn't get there.
There's not enough room because of the door, just because of the layout of the room to be able to center myself on that thing.
No, no. Oh, over there, I completely understand. So I was saying in between the door and that white space there, if you can just plant yourself like right there, and if you move your mic over, you're actually in the center of the shot now, and
All right, so let's practice that tonight. I will move into my
that's just me. Like somebody else
strict
could see something
recommended.
totally different. Could see something
Well, it's
totally
your
different.
show, so we're gonna go with it.
No, no. You know what? I've learned this with working with people. There's so many ways to do something. Okay, there's so
Mhm.
many ways
And
to
there
do
should
something,
be.
and there
Kind
should
of
be.
boring if there's
So
only one way.
I know it, right? And it's not my way. Like it's never my way. It is what people like. I like to help people, but whatever feels comfortable for you. Okay. Now I would recommend centering on the oval because I think it would give you like this glowing. But guess what? It didn't fit for the room, so we have to go to step 2 or 3. Okay, and absolutely, there is nothing wrong with your setup or even where you are. Just somebody else that's into backgrounds better than me could tell you, hey, well, this means this, and you want it to be cozy, so let's contrast a different light because they would say, guess what? You got great teal, but let's put a splash of orange in there, or what's the Hollywood colors is that teal and orange, but there could be another combination of colors you can use in the background to
Mm-hmm.
even
Mm-hmm.
increase that the gradient that you have going on.
True.
I like two
Yes.
lights. You can barely see, but there is a slight different light hitting the wall, blue on one side, and then I say that, and it's purple on the other side. Those are not working together, but normally it is another light on the background that's kind of contrasting the blue. So there you go. So people are learning
Mhm.
today. I do have Mr. Camera Junkie hanging out with us saying
Hey,
hello.
Luis, what's
So
up?
it's always good to have him here hanging out with us. And my favorite text says, Happy Sunday. Man, Sunday is just a good day to kind of hang out, guys. It just is. I love Sundays. I have questioned, what may be the best day to actually do the stream show, but I love Sunday nights. I really do. Um,
Mm.
Tech troublemaker in my dreams, in my dream world, I buy 4 TVs and mount them to the wall vertically behind me and turn them into acting as one
Ah.
screen. So I have the background I would like. Listen,
Mm.
what's his name actually did this? There's a content creator online that actually did this. I actually saw a video of someone using 3 screens and making a wall. I'm like Tatiana. I don't have the space for duplicates. I thought I would, like turning them vertically, but when I got this one home, this is actually a 75-inch behind me, and it didn't fill my wall. And 80 inches, which would have been too big, even going vertical, it just would have been like too much for what I wanted. And the price jumped another $500 for just 5 inches. It wasn't worth it. So somebody asked, I think it was Jane asked, do I have a recommendation? I like Hisense. I like these are all to be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you the Walmart brands. Go to Walmart. They have the best prices on televisions. I'm just gonna tell you that. So ONN is another good one, and these all have what I recommend is the televisions that do Roku, because it's the Roku connection that's easiest for the iOS. All right, so you can do your screen monitor and all that kind of stuff. I do it through Roku. So that's my recommendation. People may have others, but I use Hisense, and I love the way they all connect through Wi-Fi, and it makes it easier to kind of get around. But do your research. Make sure you get the one that's best for you and your setup. Even if you need certain type of resolution and refresh rates, you'll know all about that if you do your research. Just don't do what I did and get the cheapest television. Okay, you don't want
And
to do that.
I always say this, Strick, and it bears repeating. That's the awesome thing about our Ecamm community too, is that you can go and ask people, "Have you tried TVs? Which ones have worked for you?" And start getting some input from other people so that you can make an informed decision that works for you.
There you go. There you go. So, and
And
I
I wanna
do
can I
want to.
say one last thing about
Sure,
my
go right
microphone?
ahead.
Because I forgot to say that. This little guy right here was courtesy of another winning from Vlogmas, right? I always would
That's
hear
awesome.
Fulgens, Anna and Fulgens, my favorite
Uh huh.
dynamic duo,
Oh, I
the
love
the
them.
ta talking about Vlogmas, and I'm pretty sure they first connected via a Vlogmas a few years ago, if I'm remembering their connection
They
story
did a
correctly.
couple years ago with the Let's Get Live community.
Something like that, right? So they're always talking about Vlogmas, and I'm like, "Vlogmas, Vlogmas, Vlogmas, Vlogmas." So Christmas, December time comes around, the holiday period comes around, and Vlogmas is this challenge at the end of the year. So I know a lot of you guys have heard of it, but if anyone is new and has no idea what we're talking about, at the end of the year, content creators around the world, it's not an Ecamm thing, it's actually an around the world thing, challenge challenge themselves to do something more creative, like to push the envelope, challenge yourself, get out of your comfort zone, do something. So Ecamm hosted a Vlogmas challenge, and I joined it. I was like, yes, I am going to have some Vlogmas experience under my belt. And the prize, I think it was like a raffle prize. Like if you completed the challenges, you would be entered into a raffle to win this microphone. And I couldn't believe it. I won with this. I'm like, no way, no
That's
way. So
awesome.
this is my microphone courtesy of the Ecamm Vlogmas challenge.
That's awesome. Like Winnings on top of winnings. You are definitely a winner. And I do have some people helping me here. I'm trying to get through these comments as best I can. But Potato Jet is one of the guys you can look at to see how he set up his televisions. And his looks way better than what I have. He has a bigger room, but he actually makes it look like they're windows. But he can change it to whatever he wants. And yes, so Potato Jet,
Talk
excuse
about
me,
a memorable name,
yeah,
Potato Jet.
Potato Jet. Oh man, he's cool. He actually has two different channels. Um, oh man, I almost had his other name, Nugent or something like that. But Potato Jet is what people know as a content creator. He does a really really good job demoing tons of cameras for us. You know, microphones, editing stuff, and he has the coolest setup because he, to me, I watch Potato Jet a lot. He does all the detail work, but he also does some social things inside of his videos. So you get a
Mhm.
chance to learn more about him and his girlfriend slash wife or whatever that is, and his friends. It's really cool. He's a really cool guy to watch. He's a really cool guy to watch.
Nice.
All right. Um, let's see here. Since we're talking about space, I see Patrick has it. I would love what you said about the importance of to personalize your space to your personality. Your studio is your online home. I
Mhm.
agree
Mhm.
uh, that it has to be you. There you
Yes,
go.
Patrick. Thank you.
There you go.
Appreciate the solidarity.
It is important. You want to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, Let me see. Tech Trouble Woman, I love this channel. I was searching for someone that had done TV deals that came across this video. So I guess they're talking about Jen, yeah, and Potato Jet. So he's got two names. And I watch both of the channels for whatever reason. Why I'm into Potato Jet, I do not know.
I'm gonna have
Uh,
to check this Gina
oh yeah,
Gata
you
Potato
gotta
Jet
check him
person out.
out.
I have never heard or seen of this person, so this is gonna be a cool person to explore.
He is very he's very educated on what he's talking about. I mean, he's been in the business for a
Cool.
long time, so not only is he doing common content creator stuff, but he also is doing real videos, real commercials. He has a real job in the industry, and it's really cool watching him. All right, so Eric is
That's
hanging out
nice.
with us today. He just says hello. Well, Eric, we thank you for coming
Hey,
by and
Eric.
saying hello. And we've been chit chatting so much because Tatiana comes from the Ecamm fam, so she's just like all of us that loves Ecamm, loves being a part of the community. But I want to dive in right now, if you don't mind, Tatiana. And how did you get started? Like, what made you say, I want to create content online?
Yes. I I am an adjunct professor at a university in New Jersey, at Rutgers University in New Jersey on
One
the
time
East
for
Coast.
Rutgers.
Woo woo, Rutgers. Hopefully you guys have at least heard of Rutgers, right?
Yes,
Yeah, because I know
yes.
everybody comes from all over the place, but I I started a YouTube channel to elevate my college students' voices. I teach public speaking and leadership courses, and I thought, what a great way to have meaningful conversations with my students after they've completed their classes with me and share how what they learned inside the classroom matters outside the classroom. And I had so many students interested and willing to do that. And I started via Zoom, recording the content on Zoom, which was okay. But having my photography and video background, and I mentioned that I did photography and video professionally, and I
Right.
had to retire from that world after a car accident and a cervical spine surgery. This is my scar here, but you can't see it because the surgeon was thoughtful enough to make it
I
right on the
cannot see
neckline
that.
anyway.
Would
So
not have ever known.
when it's now that it's all healed up, it heals so nicely that you wouldn't know. It just looks like the neckline. One,
Right.
I guess, one of the neck, whatever wrinkles, neck folds, whatever that happens as you get older, whatever. One of these things, right? So it just blends into your body. And so, big long story, it was very heartbreaking for me, and I thought that photography and video was my world, and I loved it. And to and I remember thinking like, God, what am I supposed to do now? What's going to happen in my life now? I left my hospital job, my supervisor comfortable, reliable job to do this creative endeavor that I wanted to do all my life. And now it's like I cannot do it because physically, if I continue to do it, I'm just going to re-injure the same part over and over again, and that makes no sense. I have to think about the rest of my life.
Right.
So I think, so now what? So teaching in education, teaching in university came into my world, and it is not something I ever foresaw. I never
Okay.
ever thought of myself as being as being a college educator until I became a college educator, and I
That's
thought, wow,
awesome.
I love photography and video. And the beauty is, as an educator, I get to bring photography and video into my classroom and all that creativity. But I fell in love with teaching. And that's in the classroom and in the virtual world too. So, the other day on Friday, thanks to Doc Rock kind of inviting me in his way, I hosted Ecamm live demo with Luis and Paul
That's
on
awesome.
Friday.
Big shouts
And
out
I
to
was
you.
and we had such a good time. I had such a good time that I had energy in me for 5 hours after
I
that
bet.
still.
I bet.
I was still, like, in the clouds 5 hours later. So, being here with you tonight, this is energizing to me. Like, I love doing these kinds of things. And so I that's really how I knew this is more than enjoyable, it's more than good, it's a calling on my life because anybody that's in education knows that, sadly, financially, this is not the way to go. So, I have secured other ways of being financially stable, but I do the teaching part for, I mean, it is a paid position, of course, but I do that for what's in my heart to share. And I want to create an online content creation. This is so I'm going all over the place, I know,
No,
but
go ahead. I love it.
this is just the story here. So, I started teaching, created the YouTube channel to elevate my college students' voices, but that never really gained traction. And I think in great part because while I love creating the content, connecting and engaging, I do not excel at the promotion, the public relations, the marketing side of things. And I saw we have somebody here who's in the Eric, I think, is online marketing, and I was like, oh man, he's got the skills that I don't have. But it's very important. It's important to do those things. So then I thought, why don't I try switching the focus of my channel and teaching the same communication skills that I teach at college, but open it up so that you don't have to come to Rutgers to learn these things. Like, come and learn with me. But as any of you who have ever gone through picking an audience, any courses, any content, you know that if everybody is your audience, then nobody is your audience. And that's exactly what happened to me.
Wow.
It was too hard. It was way too hard, Strick, to focus. Everything felt so heavy because it's like communication skills for planet Earth. Great. I will teach everybody. But you can't do that. You just
No, you
can't.
can't.
You can't focus on everybody. And so after some learning programs and a lot of content through Ecamm and great conversations with people that I met through Ecamm. I did the accelerator program that Luria Petrucci runs. I made some great connections in the Ecamm community. Almost everyone that I say that I connect with is from Ecamm. Certainly,
That's
there's some
awesome.
people outside of Ecamm too, but for the most part, it's my Ecamm fam that I've had these great conversations with. And the clarity came through a conversation with Claudio Sennheiser, if any of you guys know him from Ecamm, and he helped me get really focused on the fact that what I love to do is create engaging content, active learning strategies, and then I love doing them. And the people who would value and appreciate that are other adjunct professors, other creative educators. And so that is now my new focus. And now everything is crystal clear. The clarity is there, the direction is there, the focus is there, and the content is there because before I was trying to figure out how do I take all these things that I teach, public speaking, leadership, interpersonal communication, and package it for the world. Now it's like I'm packaging my world to share with others, and it follows the flow of my life rather than me trying to find a flow to put into the content. If that hopefully makes sense, like things fit in my life now that I'm creating content to help adjunct professors create dynamic content that students love and remember. And so it has been a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. Everything feels lighter, brighter, and very clear. It's still really hard and takes a lot of focus, and I'm still one person. And I've thankfully come across people who want to join a team and help me and get this all going. but it just feels so good to have identified a target audience and to really be able to focus on that has been fantastic.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I thank you for sharing that. I think it's important for all of us to have a reason why. And then as we learn our reason why, to get focused, and you're
Mhm.
focused on a niche that is something that's near and dear to your heart, is absolutely excellent. So I love that you found that, and you found it with the Ecamm family all together and was willing to take the time to learn. So I actually learned through the pandemic, when we had tons of
Mm.
time. I can't tell you how many hours I put into Doc Rock and his teaching, all the
Oh,
stuff. I
yes.
mean, hours and hours and hours of listening to some of the things that he would teach. And it was excellent stuff, really, really good stuff. So I do want to
Absolutely.
say this for people that are watching. And we've talked about my television. I gave my recommendation, and guess what? In the middle of Tatiana talking and telling us about her story, my Bluetooth goes out between my computer
Mm.
and my television. Now, this is one of the things that, as a content creator, when you're trying to help other people, there's nothing I could do. Okay, I'm explaining this so you'll know. Hey, I want to go with monitors. This could or could not happen. How could
Mhm.
it
Here's what
happen?
to
What
look
is
out for.
This is what to look out for. So the best way to actually do this is most televisions have a USB connection to actually take whatever graphics you want and actually put the graphics on a thumbnail and not use it as another monitor. Now, I like to use it as another monitor because there's so many things you can do, which includes even putting like your chat or the comments back there. I mean, that could work too. But because I was telling you that some of the connections are finicky, this is what
Mm.
can happen sometimes. Now, I'm
But at
rolling with
least
it.
yes, but at least now we can see your lights reflected in the back. So we
Now
see you
you
have
can
the
see the light. So that was,
honeycomb grin on one
yeah,
side.
you can see the light. And this is the field. The field is over. Hold on. This is the field light, and this is the key light with the honeycomb right here. All right.
Nice.
Somebody asked earlier, how do you manage the lights? Do you have everything at an angle? So you can see the lights wasn't seen as much when I had the graphics on, but you can tell that they are still reflecting off the television. The graphics kind of hid them a little bit, and you probably most people probably think it's a part of the graphics, but they were hitting the television. And yes, I could angle it a little better, but I can't take. I'd rather have a little bit of glare, but making sure that my light is on point. Like when Tatiana came on and she was, uh, video was so crisp and so clear. I wanted to be sure that mine was as well. You know how we are as content creators. We want to look good too. I want to be
Yes.
sure that everything looks well. And we
Strict
do have
question.
somebody. Yes, go ahead.
Oh,
I
hey,
was
we
just
know.
want to
First do the
say
shout out. First do the shout out here to
yes.
Kerwin.
Yeah, Kerwin is like, do you say hello to Dr. Reagan for him? So that's cool. Do you know
I
Dr.
do not
Reagan?
know Dr. Reagan, but I'm going to look that person up, and if I ever run into that person, I would love to say hi. Look, he was even shout out to New Brunswick.
There you
But Strick, I
go.
wanted to ask you something.
Sure.
Could you put up something in your ceiling that's a bit of a flag so that it blocks the light from hitting the TV, but still hits you just fine?
I'm sure. So my lights right now are so very close to me that probably the best thing that I could do is angle the television to get it out, or I can push the lights up. So pushing the lights up, the only thing that hurts me if I push them up out of this is kind of the same thing we say about your
I was like,
glasses.
hold your hand up a little. Just go slowly. Put your hand up above. Keep going. Keep going. You
Are
see
you
how your
trying to see
hand
where
starts
it?
to block that light?
Uh
So I'm
huh.
thinking if you were to put something to be able to block
Right here.
some type of a black cardboard or
And that could
poster
work.
board or something to flag out the light's glare from hitting the TV.
That could work.
I can't
It
see your
definitely could
space, so
work
I
on
don't
this.
know if it would actually work, but you
So
put
I'm
your hands where you
actually
can see
touching
where
the
it's
light.
hitting.
Hold on, let me see if I can get into the camera. Well, no, it is probably about 18, 20 inches away from me. My lights are. So,
Just
well, the key light is.
something to
The key light
consider.
is
Some
really.
some kind
Oh
of
no,
a
no, I think that's a
flagging to
great
block
idea.
it.
Let me try something really quick because we all learn sometimes, right?
Hmm.
Here we go. I have my man Kevin Colby's book right here. He was just my guest
Yeah, he
last
was
week,
on last week.
and
I like Kevin's stuff. He's really nice person too.
oh, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. And I'm not, I'm just using it because it's close.
There you
So
go.
that's what
Okay.
she was
So
talking about.
you know
How
you
if
need
I could
something
have something
about,
flagged there,
yep, and you probably need something 4 times as big as that, but
that's a great idea. I
something
I
something you
hope
could.
you guys are looking at this. I hope you're looking at it. We're learning. I love it. Um, yes, please don't forget to put the Q in Q colon when you have a question. That would really, really help us. And Kerwin here is asking a question about microphones. And of course, I am using the Sennheiser 416. I'm always going perusing through audio shops, and a friend of mine had one that someone actually, young lady, not a young lady, it was an older lady. Husband died. He had tons of stuff in his studio, so I
Mhm.
got it used, and I absolutely love it. So once I
Yes.
get the register right where I want it to be, and of course, so in order for you to be a Ecamm user, you have to use Apple product, right?
Right.
There is a personality that goes along with people that use Apple products. I can guarantee you, most people that use Apple products also drink Starbucks coffee. That's just me in my opinion. You like, this a different type of person,
Are you
and we
profiling?
like. Say that again.
Are you profiling people?
No, I'm not profiling people. I'm just telling the truth. There's a certain type of personality that comes with someone that use a Apple product because people will argue this all day long. Tons of PCs could do better, faster, cheaper, all that other kind of stuff. So there's a reason why we love Apple products. And now the integration from your studio, um, your Mac Mini, your watch, your phone, your iPad. Like, why do we need
Right,
all
the
these things? But
ecosystem.
the ecosystem is just crazy now. So yes, I do like to buy
But it
things
but it is
that
a shotgun
works.
mic that you have though, right,
It
Strick?
is a shotgun mic. Yes, the
And
Sennheiser 416.
my preference too. Like this microphone quality to me is beautiful, and
Right.
I think I hope it sounds beautiful to all of you
It
guys who
does.
are
Sounds
listening.
good, beautiful to me.
But me, I express myself non-verbally a lot, and so I can't have it down here, which is more recommended is to have in front of you, right? A lot of people you'll see they have their microphone here. I tried, I'd knock it around too much. I tried putting it totally out of frame, but then you lose so much of the audio quality. It's not right. So this is my compromise. Also, from a recommendation from Doc to hang it up high instead of, but for me, my preference would be a shotgun mic totally out of frame. Not because like I don't mind the way it looks here. That's not the problem, but I would like it out of frame so that I feel more free with my hand moves. Like I feel like I have to come to the mic to talk rather than just talk the way I would normally speak in whatever moment. So I would love a shotgun mic in my future too.
So there, you're right. So now you're giving up some of your visual real estate to your microphone. Now, the quality you get out of a mic, the closer the mic is to you, the better quality you're gonna get out of that microphone. This Sennheiser is one of the best shotgun mics out there, and there are other products that you can get. And I promise you, there's other things that you can use from lapel mics uh, to having it fly in. I like using the desk. I do have this. I'm still a Shure SM7B boy, so I could have it on my desk and talk here, and you would never know. It would if I switch mics real quick, you'll be able to tell the difference. And I will tell you, this sounds better closer to me. But of
Yes, like
course,
I'll show you guys, and that's a different mic than mine, right? I know their letters sound so similar, but they're different. But originally, my thought was this: my mic would be over here. So now you can't see it, but I know that the quality is completely different, and I only moved it 6 inches. So the microphone does have to be close to your mouth. It's just the way it is,
Yeah.
in order for it to work well.
So let me try this. I'm not. What's gonna happen is you can be like, Strick, why don't you use the SM7B? I really like the Sennheiser. I got it for a great deal, and I like it being out of the shop. But this is what the SM7B would sound like. So now you can hear the
Okay.
difference.
You can hear the
Okay,
difference. I
you
could hear
can
it right
hear
away, right, guys?
you can hear the
Let us know.
difference.
I
You can
know
hear
you
the
can hear the
difference.
difference. I can hear it right
And
away.
this is the mark. I love this is where I started. I love this microphone.
I would
If you're
call it
doing
like a fuller sound to your voice there.
right,
Even though I
so
thought it sounded great before, but now
you
I'm
would
like,
never know the
okay, there is
difference.
a
You never
there's
know
a
the difference.
richness and a fullness to your voice now.
So not only that, if I was doing a podcast, this will be the microphone I would use for the podcast. Not that this show is not used as a podcast. It still has some
Audio
clarity.
only. Like
Yeah,
Phil's audio
audio
only.
only stuff. So
Oh,
so
by the way, Roy, Tech Troublemaker, said that now Kevin needs to come out with the audio edition of his book. And I'm pretty sure he said on your show that he was going to be working on that,
yes,
right? So
he did say
that is a
that.
work in progress.
Yeah, he did say that. He did say that.
Cool.
I'm going through the comments as well, and yeah, we are Apple snobs. There's no way of getting around it. There's no way of getting around. I wish it was different. It's just not.
And also, I will say, I mean, this is like the debate back in the day for me in photography and video world, Canon versus Nikon or Nikon, depending on what part of the world you're from. But to
Nikon is
me,
fine.
and I'm not an either or person. I'm an and type of person. So, but to me, it's like when I was learning, the people who were willing to teach me had Canon, and I knew that it was going to be easier for me to learn that same system. And once you invest in one system, it's really hard to switch. So it's the same thing with Apple. You invest in this system, plus Ecamm is Apple only. But once you start investing in all this stuff, it's so much harder to totally switch platforms. That said, I
It
do
is
have a Sony ZV-E10, not a Canon, but but again, I'm an and person, right? It's like
right,
I don't
right.
dislike Canon. It's just the Sony ZV-E10 filled a lot of the needs I had as a live streamer. So
And it's a. I
and
mean, you
content
have a
creator.
beautiful. It looks great tonight. It really does. I
Yay!
didn't know what camera you were using, so thank you for sharing that now and earlier. For people that are looking, I'm using the Sony 6400. And it's probably a little blurry because I'm not seeing that well tonight, but it is what it is.
And if you
um,
remember before, Strick, I said that I'm a firm believer in using what you've got. When I started streaming, I I got the connections and everything to be able to use my Canon 5D Mark II, which is an older camera, to be able
uh-huh.
to connect. And it is manual focus. So there was no autofocus. I mean, it's an autofocus if you're using it without being connected to a computer, but
Right.
it disables the autofocus. So I had to put myself in exactly the right plane of focus. So, but the quality improved tremendously from any webcam that I had. So that was using what I had at the time and then upgraded to the Sony next. So little to me, I took it and continue to take it in steps, one thing at a time, but still always using what I've got until I've maxed out, outgrown it, and then now I'm ready for the next thing.
I like that. I like that. And let me stop and say hello to Michelle for hanging out with us.
Hi,
Michelle Lawrence.
Michelle.
Hadn't seen you in a
That's our
while.
Canva
Thank you for
girl right
stopping
there.
by. Yeah, she's doing it real big with Canva and teaching people how to do that. Mr. Camera Junkie is saying, hey, between Canon and Nikon, he chose Sony, and he's really into Sony. Like if you want to talk cameras and you want to talk Sony camera and why Sony, like Mr. Camera Junkie will go and he can get real deep into all of that.
He
So
can. He
he
definitely
is
can.
definitely one of my go-tos for that. And Tech Troublemaker
Knowledgeable.
says, day job, Windows all day, content creator, Apple, so he could think different. I get it. So he can use left
Yes.
brain, right brain kind of stuff. I
And that
get
was
it.
the same for me, Roy. When I had my job and I was as a hospital administrator, that was the same for me. In 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 the day job, it was all Windows, and I was always helping out with troubleshooting and fixing. I was not IT. That was not my job. It just ended up being within my wheelhouse. And then at home and photography and everything that I did creatively with video was all Apple. So it was like you're in both platforms, you're in both worlds too.
Well, there you go. There you go. So, and most people that I have to work with in several different jobs, guess what? PC. They're PC people. They're Windows. So even when I have opportunities to do builds, I have to be mindful that everybody are not Mac users.
Yes.
So I have
And
to
the same
convert them.
so same for me in my classroom too, and in teaching my students how to have online presence, how to create visuals that are gonna help you stand out from everybody else. I can't preach Ecamm to everybody because my college students, they're not all gonna go out and buy Ecamm. Probably for budgeting reasons, number 1, or their interests don't lie in that yet, but also so I have to have free things in mind, so one of those things is OBS, teaching
Gotcha.
them how they can use other products like Prezi Video and just other ways of achieving a similar look at a more basic level to help them get started and get going with things, and then, maybe one day in the future, they will come to Ecamm, but having
I,
different options for people, being able to meet them where they're at, I think is really valuable too.
it is really valuable, but I will also say you will gain a little more incentive for pushing Ecamm if you use your affiliate link. You will be
Yes.
really surprised of how many people actually pay to use the right system. Like I got it in
Mhm.
one day, and I'm not the richest person in the world. I know when there's a good product out there, how to go get it. So you know,
Definitely.
and then you'll
Yeah,
know they
and
bought it. They bought it, and I got a certain percentage. I mean, the affiliate program is really cool, and it kind of helps you talk about it, and then from
mm,
there you can let people decide for themselves. But good stuff.
sure.
So
Yeah,
let's
and
talk
it
about this.
worked for me. Somebody
Be-
to so there was a person in the Ecamm community who told me about Ecamm, and when I checked it out, I was like, "And I'm in."
Automatic for me as well. I did my search, so I was opposite. In my one of my jobs, I had PC, so I was using vMix, and I really liked vMix. I didn't know um, anything about Ecamm, but vMix does not do at the time. I don't know if they've changed it since then. Which is another vMix is another program you have to buy
Mhm.
like Ecamm,
Yeah,
and
the
for
I hear a lot of people in the PC world talking about vMix compared to Ecamm.
right. And so at home I couldn't use it, so I had to do a search on what I could use with my Mac at home, and that's how I found Ecamm. So Diana Gladney, um, who else was talking about it? Pat Flynn. Um, once it was a couple people in the content creator world that were talking about this system Ecamm, I was like, hey, let's try it out. And once I did, it was so very intuitive for me at the time. I'm not going from vMix to Ecamm. For me, it was really, really easy. And
A similar experience for me, but with OBS. I was using OBS for a while, and I was getting the hang of it, but it didn't feel so intuitive, and so once I tried Ecamm, I liked the interface better, I liked the flow of things better, and I switched, but I still keep myself very familiar with OBS to be able to tell people that there are other options that will cost you
right.
nothing in case some things are cost prohibitive at that time, you have options.
Do you know what the option would do for most people? And it did it for me. Hey, it's free. But once you go over there and you try to use it and it's not as intuitive, okay, however much I got to pay for this other system, let's work that out because I had a tough time with OBS. That being said, you actually teach um, this thing called active learning to other
Yes.
professors and you teach people how to do content online. And I want you to share this last couple of minutes that we have about
I know,
what you
crazy.
do to teach people. Yes, you are in the club. You are definitely Ecamm fam. We can talk and keep going on and on about all this stuff all the time, but I want to be sure that people hear one of the things that you do that we may not be doing with your active learning. Can you give us more details when you say active learning? I know what it's like in a classroom, but how do
Mhm.
you do that online?
Yes. Well, first of all, I wanna give a shout out to Patrick again in the chat because he said he's also an adjunct professor in Canada and loves teaching, so shout out to him for
Where
that
is he? Let
connection.
me let me be sure I see this. Okay, there he
Is
is,
right
Patrick. There you
got
go.
him right there? Yes, yes. So, awesome. Shout out to another fellow adjunct professor, and actually, Roy, tech troublemaker, also is a college educator, so he teaches as well. So, we got quite a few of us in the house tonight, which is fabulous. But even if you're not teaching as an adjunct professor at a university, you are probably teaching, informing, educating on your channel. Right? This is
Right.
something that most of us, even if it's only in part of the time, because some of us may have a focus of more entertainment. That's totally cool too. But for a lot of us who we want, at least I'm going to make an assumption about all of us. We want people to come to our streams and enjoy themselves. I'm going to say that's how we all feel. Like nobody says, "Oh, I'd love it if people came to my live and had a crappy time." That's not the case. So, in the world of education, there's this concept called active learning. And it's very simple. It's a strategy. What it means is that you're always including and involving your listeners. If you want to compare it to passive learning versus active learning. And how do you learn better? Is it by sitting there and just listening to somebody, or is it by being an active participant? And I'm not saying we don't learn by listening. Certainly we do. A lot of times in live streams, it's very one way. We are all listening, but we have our participation in the chat, right? So, and you guys have probably all been to streams where that's not the norm. People maybe don't comment as much, or you do comment and you don't get recognized for it. So you're not as likely to do that. So, one of the easiest ways that we can implement active learning strategies on our live streams is by doing what I think, Strick, you do a fabulous job of. And I think it's something that you model really well, is including all of the people in the chat by highlighting their comment, by
Gotcha.
acknowledging their comment, by using people's names. People love their names, or, hey, thank you for this. Thank you so much. I appreciate your participation. I appreciate what you had to say tonight. Thank you for sharing. So that's the simplest, easiest, and an incredibly effective way to implement the active learning strategy of, remember, it just means involving your listeners, involving my students, involving people listening to the online chat tonight, so that I kind of think of it as, if we're all on a team and you're sitting on the bench watching the game versus you get to come on in the field and you get to play the game too. So it's like having that skin in the game when we open up active learning strategies into our live streams. And so I'll give you an example of one way that I did it on a live stream with Katie Fox on Ecamm Meet the Fam.
Okay.
I collected this was so funny. Hold on, I gotta grab my sound panel here so that we can do this. Okay, so you guys, I would like all you guys to play. And if you played this before on Ecamm Meet Film, if you remember this, great. But Strick, if you could help me shout out some of the guesses that people say. I'm going to play the laugh of one of our Ecamm fam folks, right? And it'll be a
Okay.
well-known one. And then you let me know what some of the guesses are, right? Here's the first one. So you guys have to
All
guess,
right.
whose laugh is this? All right? Whose laugh is this?
Oh, that's simple. So we have to give them time to
Yes.
actually chime in, but I
Yeah.
get it. I
Yeah.
get it.
We give them a little bit of time. I want you guys to think about who is that person's laugh, right? See if we get some guesses coming in. And in the meantime, while we do that, I'll talk a little bit more about active learning. So,
There's Michelle. She's thinking it's Doc.
okay,
Okay.
Michelle
Tech
says
Trouble,
Doc.
Nick, Doc Rock.
All
Uh,
right. And
you
James
said
says
first.
Doc as well.
Did I
The
miss
Belief
James?
Hero
Okay. Yeah.
says,
Yeah. 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 Uh-huh.
all right. So, of course, you guys are totally correct. That is indeed Doc Rock. And that's Doc coming in. Here's the second one. Okay. I'm gonna play the second one.
Oh my God. One of my favorite laughs.
I laugh hearing these. So I'm gonna just give everybody a little chance here. I'm gonna talk through these. So this takes some work, right? Active learning strategies take a little bit of work. I had to scour tons of videos to find just the right snippet. I did try to find Strix laughing to be able to include him too, but he smiles infinitely in his videos, but
Right.
not so
I
much of a
don't
lingering
laugh.
laugh. There's
I
not so
don't
much of a
laugh.
laugh like ha ha ha, ha anything that it's like, Strick, laugh for us right now. Let's hear your
I
laugh.
gotta say, something like that. That's probably all the laughing I got is that's it for me. My
Oh yeah,
shows need to be funnier. I don't know.
but Listen, we have some people in the chat who have already gotten this correct, and it is
Uh-huh.
indeed Anna and Fulgens, right? Fulgens is in there too a little bit. You guys all said Anna. She's like the more prominent laugh in that particular clip. Here's the next one.
Okay, you cut that one really quick, but I think I know who that is as well.
I will give you guys a little bit of a hint. The person whose laugh this was did not guess it about themselves.
Are you
They
for
thought it was
real?
another person. Yeah. That person thought it was another person. And I kind of could see why.
I
But we'll
think I know who
see.
it is.
All right, what's your guess, Strick?
My guess is that's Katie.
You think that that's Katie Fox?
I think
Okay,
that
well
that's Katie.
we'll wait and see if anybody in the chat chimes in. And so again, I'll just chat a little bit about how I did this. So I collected a bunch of sound clips, right? I brought them into Ecamm into my sound effects panel, and then I created little graphics that would come up one by one on the screen as people guessed. So I wanted to share this with you because anytime, say, you're a guest or you want to do this on your own show, you can do fun little things like this. I was thinking, I'm going to be on Ecamm Meet the Fam. What can I do that is a strategy? And my belief is that they should be meaningful, memorable, and fun. So it's got to relate to the world that I'm speaking to. So Ecamm, laugh, right? Meaningful, because these are the people that we would recognize, that we love to listen to. Memorable, people probably remember having done this activity, right? Especially because you're involved, you're guessing, you're
Right.
participating. Like Michelle's saying right now, I'm scratching my head on this one, which means she's connecting right now. She's with us, right? It makes it so much less likely that people are going to be distracted, half listening, multitasking. Because in that moment, they're like, ooh, our brains can't help but want to answer questions and play and guess. And the third part is having fun. Well, I mean, it is laughter, so that's already pretty fun. And for most people, playing games is a ton of fun too. So we got some people not sure about this one, but Strick, you are correct.
There
It
you
is
go.
Katie
There you
Fox.
go.
That
There you
is
go.
Katie laughed. But funny enough, Katie guessed that it was Luria Petrucci's laugh,
Are
but
you
it
for
was
real?
Katie. Yes, that was Katie. All right, here's the next one.
Oh, I already know who that one is too.
I'll play
Do
it
it one
one
more
more
time. I think I
time.
talked over him. So Tatiana, I watch a lot of Ecamm. I watch a lot of Ecamm, okay? Just like
Me too.
everybody else.
Me too.
So I am in it when the voices, the laughs. I think that's definitely a way to engage. I mean, if someone says, it's kind of like you said, you search for my laugh or you search. So then now you're looking through what I do. Hey, Strick is smiling all the time. That's his thing. He doesn't laugh as much. I got to figure that out. I need to do a little laughing, a little more
No, listen,
laughing.
listen. That's no criticism. Your smile is beaming all the time, but I couldn't grab a sound clip of you laughing.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. I have to do a
But
better
I
job
got
with
it
that.
now because you laughed on this one. So I got
I
it now.
did, didn't I? My little, I do that all the time. So we got a
Ay, ay,
couple
ay.
people here. Somebody even thought that was Doc. Play it one more time.
All right, here we go. Play it one more time. But I'm gonna let you guys know that the first person to get it correct is Kerwin. Kerwin guessed it correctly. It is, in fact, Marshall Fox's laugh. And then it's just funny he's saying that he's got a Marshall Eddie Murphy thing going on.
Uh-huh. That's funny.
That's funny. And here is the final guess for tonight, the final laugh. I'll play it one more time.
Oh, you got me on this one. You got me
Hearing
on
other
this
people
one.
laugh just automatically makes you laugh. I can't
Oh,
help
it's
it.
cool. Play it one more time and see if I can hear it a little. Um, I'm gonna go out on a limb because he didn't like laugh a lot. But that's somewhere close to Mr. Camera Jackie's sound.
Oh, okay. All right. And Technicom Media says no clue.
Try it one more time. Let me see if I got it. I'm sticking with. I'm gonna at least try because that's close to Louise. I'm not really sure.
Have I heard Luis laughing? I don't think so.
He has laughed before. Now I've been in his presence and heard him laugh. So when he's on talking about cameras, Mr. Camera Junkie is really serious. Okay, he is
Mhm,
really serious
mhm.
about these cameras. But he has a laugh in there somewhere.
I'll give you guys a hint.
Okay, thank
This
you.
person would not say Ecamm beta. This person would say Ecamm beta.
You got me. Okay, so you're saying so he's overseas.
And he would say Ecamm beta.
Let me hear it one more time.
I would love it if y'all would join the Ecamm Live Academy.
Oh yeah, yeah, I get it. So I know who it is. That's Adrian. Adrian. And you're
Yes,
right.
guys.
He's
You got
saying
it. And
Alex, but it's Adrian.
Kerwin and Michelle said guessing Alec, but indeed, Technicon Media is correct. That was Adrian Salisbury coming up.
There you go.
so, so guys, so I would, plan to project. This was the game that we played. Ecamm Meet the Fan. I'm so glad you guys were down to play it tonight, and I would, reveal these one by one as the answers come up. And I'll hide those, and I don't know where I went. Did I do something? Did I hide my own camera? Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
there
There
you
we
go.
go, guys. I accidentally hid my cam instead of hiding the text. So this is one way of playing really fun, active learning things. Now, here's another one that I'll show you from my class. And you guys know Anna and Fulgence, of course, they created a games pack, which I purchased on their Buy Me a Coffee because I love doing this in all of my activities. So I will ask my students, when was Duck Bunny? Now, and I'm showing you the whole thing at the end. Whereas with them, I would not. Let me see. I would not highlight the correct answers. Right. I would say, when was the Duck Bunny created? And the Duck Bunny is something we would have already discussed. They would have learned because I would talk about the two-sided argument in persuasive public speaking. And this is an image from a long time ago from that is both a duck and a bunny depending on how you look at it. If you look at it left to right, it's like the ears of a bunny, the eyes of the bunny, and then the mouth of a bunny. But if you look at it right to left, it's the back of a duck's head, the eyeball of a duck, and then the bill of a duck. So it is in fact two things in one. And that's the point I was illustrating, is that sometimes things are not just one thing and we need to consider two sides, like the two-sided argument. So this is a question I'll bring into class for fun. When was the duck bunny created? Have them
So the answer
guess.
to that question was 1897.
The correct answer, then I would highlight was all the guesses would come in. I would say guess A, B, C, or D. Boom,
Uh-huh.
boom, 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 boom. And then I would highlight the correct answer. Yes, in fact, it is 1897 if anybody guessed it, or, and then this is how we do it. But Anna, this is just one of the types of questions that they created in the pack. They also created a, a true or false one.
Okay.
So right? So this and you would highlight the correct and the incorrect ones after they've asked the question, like true or false. Ethos is about reputation, or pathos is about a speaker's emotion. So these are also concepts in public speaking that I would want them to know. So you would highlight the correct answer depending on however you have set it to be true or false, right? So also quick true or false games. It could be about the content that you share. It could be about your guest. It could be about yourself. So many different any questions that you can think of to ask your audience. So I was so thrilled that Anna and Fulgens were selling these at a really, really reasonable price so that I didn't have to recreate them. I just
That's
plug and play
awesome.
my own content. So, but you can you can make your own, and I certainly have made a ton of my own graphics in Keynote and or whatever platform that you use to create your content. But those are just a couple of simple ways to make sure that your audience feels like they're in the game with you and that they're participating, is to throw in some fun things like this tonight. So hopefully you all felt good about doing it and can see why it's so valuable for you to also do it on your own live streams.
So
It's
there you
always fun.
go. James is like, I need to add trivia. So yeah, that's definitely a way to get people involved, and you can see it live and in person, like having some engagement on laughs. I've really, really liked that. I wanted
Hmm.
to know this because of course, I said this in the beginning. I understand active learning in a class where you're physically together, but how do you do that online doing trivia? And the laugh example was just out of sight. I really, really like that. And it's making me think how, other than talking to people in the comments all the way through the show, like how do you engage the people as they are watching? But you're making me think. You're making me
Like,
think.
for example, like you've shared some things tonight, so I would start to collect data on you. You said that your wife is a flutist. Okay, so
Hmm.
that would be a fun game to play in a trivia for the future. Like, let's say you're celebrating a special anniversary of your show. And so you're going to say, you've heard me speak about my wife so many times, and then you have the four choices. What does my wife do professionally? Is she a guitarist? Is she a pianist? Is she a chef? Is she a
Uh huh.
flutist? Like, you put all these four different things, and then people, I'll be like, I would know. Oh, yes, I know she's a flutist. I heard him
Flutist.
say it.
Gotcha.
So then I would be able, and even if people get the wrong answer, so what? They're still learning cool stuff
And they're
about
still
you, about your
engaged.
family, about your show, and they're participating. And if we have time for a little bit of science, I will share why it's important to do these kinds of
Come on,
things.
let's
If you
do
think
it.
we have a minute. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, let's do it.
There is a brain scientist named Carmen Simon, whom I love this woman's work. Like, total have a professional. There are a few people who I have professional crushes on. She's one of them.
I
So
got
as a
you.
neuroscientist, the stuff that she talks about is fabulous. She talks about this one concept called habituation. Habituation, like habit habituation. And what this means is, as human beings, we're going to become accustomed to any stimulus, even if we love it at first, and we gradually pay less and less attention to it. So even if we love DJ Strick and his show, if it's always the same, we're not going to be as, it's not as engaging as if you switch it up regularly. But
Right.
if you were to do this trivia next week and then every week and every week, by the fourth or fifth week, we're not going to be as
As
stimulated by
engaged.
it as we were the first and second time.
Gotcha.
Then you got to switch it up and do something else. And so habituation is important to our evolution. We need it. Like, if you think of yourself and you're in an office space or you're in a cafe and there's these constant fan or a TV or some music in the background, we need to be able to habituate to that, or we're going to constantly be thinking about the music, this or that. But you don't want your people to habituate to your content because it means they're tuning it out.
Gotcha.
So we need to switch the stimulus constantly. So in our online world, switching a stimulus means switching the scene. A scene with the two of us, a scene with just one of us, talking about the TV, acknowledging comments in the chat. It's about the continuous rotation of stimulus rather than having everything be the same. The ratio is going to depend on you and your content, and there's different numbers out there, and I don't firmly believe that we only have the attention span of a goldfish is one of the common things I hear.
Gotcha.
Because if that were true, none of us would binge watch TV. If we
Right.
really couldn't focus for long, like, I just don't think we would be able to watch TV shows one after the other, after the other, after the other. But TV, and even Carmen Simon says this, like, we need to look to Hollywood as our examples, as our models for this, because they're so good at stimulating us with enjoyable things. Constant switches in scenes, cuts, characters, story. We're so drawn and driven by story. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard people lately talk about, I think it's called Red Clay, which is one of these audio storytelling shows. And I remember these things as a little girl, listening to radio shows, and you can hear the sound effects, and
Uh huh.
people are, you're like in this world, it's only audio. And so many people are into it because it's different, it's challenging, and you're getting all these different inputs from vivid language and your senses. So, and Michelle says it right there. A pattern interrupt is key, right? A lot of us in content creation world, it is called a pattern interruption. So pattern interrupt the pattern. Don't do the same. It's like switch it up, switch it up, switch it up, switch it up. But you don't want to switch it up so much that people feel confused or excluded, or like it's too fast, like you're being left behind.
Uh
So
huh.
it's finding that right balance for your show, for your audience, for your personality, because it also needs to feel authentic. Like, I love doing games. If, again, remember I said if you guys were to all come over my house I would have like nice smelling things, the food, drinks, like the environment would look nice. I would also want to play games. I love playing games.
I
So
do
all
too.
this stuff feels very good to me to do, and it feels very authentic. But I know I can't just do what I want on my end for a full 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I had to switch it up every few minutes. Something has to be different, even if it's a simple change of scene, change of an overlay, a sound, every now and again. Like here's my favorite. I'm gonna play you guys my absolute favorite sound effect is this. I I love this sound. I can't explain to you why. Just I hear it, and so you play little things, or somebody gets a nice answer, and you play a little sound effect when they get the right answer. Having some fun, and we all these things are available to us in Ecamm,
That's
so
true.
it's fabulous. Planning our scenes, planning our questions, our trivia, our sound effects, and all of it is right here. So if you think about it, Glenn and Ken, when they were developing this stuff, thought about ways to add continuous engaging content, the ability for us to create continuous engaging content for our channels too. So it's pretty awesome.
Well, thank
And
you for
it's
sharing
all
that.
rooted
That's
in
really
science.
cool. Yeah, I love that you add science into it. I make it really simple. Most of us have some touch of ADHD, so we have to be mindful that we got to stimulate that person. I do say from time to time that content is key. Okay, a lot of times we can do switching, and Ecamm allows you to be the one man producer.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
if I'm not engaging with you as a host, as a interviewer, because I'm trying to change scenes and I'm trying to play games and all that, I could miss something. So I've learned how to balance it based off where I am. So if there's some times where I know you're gonna be talking, um, I can go full screen just with you and allow you to talk. And I'm actually off screen catching my breath, checking out
Yes.
comments, and
Yes.
doing some other things and listening so I can catch back up.
Yes,
So
and when
I
you're the host, when you're the instructor, the professor, the leader, the boss, whoever, you need to build in breaks for your voice and yourself too. Otherwise, you're gonna not be able to catch your breath because you're not taking pauses and not breathing enough. Gives you a chance to catch a drink of water. And you don't want any one person being the one to speak the whole time because again, that's not that then you start to form a pattern
I
and
like
then
that.
people start to get distracted and be tempted to look away. That said, I love technology, but sometimes we need to have completely no tech ways of engaging. Sometimes, and even in a virtual world, like you just need to share something on screen, like bring something physical into it. Anything relevant, you want to highlight something, and I'll do it in my classroom too. Like I teach a concept called AIM, and I'm actually going to be teaching it tomorrow. And so I bought this magnetic dartboard because I didn't want to bring actual darts into class. I figured that probably is not a good idea. So I got a magnetic dartboard, has two sides, side one like this, and then side two. So I'll play this one and I'll bring some in the beginning of class. Before I tell them what we're going to talk about, I'll say, you know what? I need a few volunteers. Just need you guys to see how good is your aim. And then I'll give, they're color coded. So I'll give 4 people the 4 different colors and we'll see who scores the most amount of points. And then people love having fun. So they'll come shoot their, let's see how good I do here. And it's kind of on the border. So we'll make that a 60. I'll be
Why
generous
not,
to mess
right?
up. So they'll shoot, they'll have a little bit of fun, but they're going to remember that I focus the word aim and I'll say the word aim a bunch of times. Oh, good aim. All right. You know what? Looks like you're like me and you might need to work a little bit on your aim. That's okay. You can practice after class. Like, I'll just say aim a lot. Then everybody has a seat. And then I wouldn't be able to have all of my students participate. It would just take way too much time, but I just have a few. And because we also live vicariously through others, the students who aren't playing still are engaged and watching what happens. What's that person going to score? So I emphasize that I'm teaching about AIM, and then I break it down. We're going to learn about AIM, and I will have visuals on screen. Let me pull these up. I'll have visuals on screen that match that. So I'll share that A is for audience, I is for intent, which is rhetorical purpose, and M is for the message. So I'll go through the lesson of audience engagement, audience analysis. Intent is, your why, your rhetorical purpose, and then message I'll speak on words, verbal communication, nonverbal communication, how you structure it, how you outline it, frameworks, go through all that content with them. But this way they're continuously, but I start with a completely non digital activity at times. That's part of switching it up and keeping them like I remember hearing students say, "You just never know what she's going to do." And I love that because the pattern is they know they're going to be doing something, they just don't know what. So it's that balance of we know we're going to be actively participating, discussing, working, learning, growing, having some fun, but they don't know the order of it and they don't know the activities. They don't, it's not always the same, right? If I brought AIM every class, okay, Tatiana, by the fifth class, they're like,
Right.
can we do something else? So
I,
that's the balance.
I really love this. Um, and I'm glad we stuck around to see even more of that because, like, that's a hot button for me and how I learn. So, I have different people that are around me, and they say, "Hey, Strick, we got this issue, got this problem. Can you solve it?" I don't know anything about the issue or problem, but guess where I go? I go to YouTube University and I'm a
Hmm.
visual learner and I'm watching the videos and then I'm trying to kind of watch what they're doing, even if it's fixing a faucet in my kitchen. And I don't know how something works, or should I pull this hard? Should this come out? I don't know if it comes out or not. Let me watch the video. And some people can't do that.
Hmm.
Some people have to read it in a book. I need step 1, 2, 3, 4. If read it, if they read the steps, then they could do it. So there's more than one way to get to people and learning. But I like the fact that you can engage people that way. And if we can just now figure out from a content creator standpoint, how can we take the aim, which you did a couple things. You didn't just play the game. The game was a part of adding a vocabulary word that was more of an acronym for learning,
Yes.
for speaking, which I mean, it has levels to it. So we talked about AIM. You said it several times. Guys, I hope you really, really dig down into how, if you're a content creator, how you can use this for a show. I am definitely going to be figuring this out or for myself,
Hmm.
the stream show, like having a word. I think Kirk is on next week. He's going to actually be live here in the studio with me. And one thing Kirk
Oh,
did was um, he actually had letters on the screen. And if you watch the whole show, you got all of the letters. It was multiple. So I think it was 6 or 7 videos. It could have been more than that. But
ah,
each
so
video
you
had a
had to
letter.
watch all of
You
them
had
to
to watch
get
all
one
of
of the
them
letters.
to get the letters. And that's how he engaged people, not just for one video, but for multiple videos, because he
That's a
then
very good
gave some
idea.
things away. So
Very good
um,
idea.
that's, those things, guys, are just next level stuff that you can use to kind of help you in your content creation, help engage your audience. And Tatiana, I will be honest with you, I didn't know all of what we were going to dig down into, but I am so very impressed. I
Aw,
really am.
thank
We
you.
gotta we gotta figure this out and maybe come up with a plan that where we could say a whole show that's just active learning ideas.
Yes. Oh,
A
yeah, that will
whole
keep me on my
show,
toes, making sure I have them
yeah,
ready.
active
And
learning
because,
ideas for
you know,
content
th
creators.
this whole AIM thing that I talked about, obviously, we wouldn't be able to play this right now, right? You
Right.
guys cannot actually shoot darts, but we can find the virtual equivalent of a shooting game, an AIM game. There, I'm certain that there is an online darts game. And so if you're teaching a virtual course and your people are connected remotely, share the screen, you have your players, find different ways of doing it. So and I do virtual classes too. So I find different ways. Then virtual games are going to be different than the in-person games, but the idea is that you're continuously engaging your people. And I know some people in the chat have commented, and you mentioned it too, Strick, about learning styles. I have a whole entire spiel that I could do on that. We'll save that for another time.
Let's
The only
plan
thing
it. So maybe in November we'll come back and um we'll do an active learning show, and we'll have
sounds good.
5 or 6
That sounds good.
ideas. And I hate to put you on the spot. This is Sunday, and I know November gets into the holidays. We'll talk offline about a good day for you. But I just think that this is just so awesome that we got
Yes.
to this point to talk about it, because I think it can help. And this is not anything any different than taking a next step for the trivia games that Anna and Fulgens have done. So people have
Yeah.
talked about it. Zoom has some integrations with man, what's the name of that?
Kahoot?
Kahoot.
Yes,
Kahoot
I play
game.
Kahoot. I do have a Kahoot account. I play it and people love it. And I
So
will do it in my personal, in my professional, in my educational life, in all areas of life because we
so with
all love to play
Kahoot,
games.
if people are connected on their phone, so they're watching on another device, pull their
That's one of the
phone
ones we
off
can do when I come back, Strick. We
when we
can play a
come
Kahoot.
back, because then I can actually have Kahoot on my phone or a tablet, and we
Mhm.
can actually show
Mhm.
the screen online. So it's like we're having an active game. And not only that, I think Anna and Fulgens did another game that people can get onto. But basically, it's using a online game or online app that we all can get on at the same time. And it possibly could be one out there that is a
Oh, yeah.
targeted game where they can hit a
Mhm.
target or something with their
Yep.
finger. I'm excited about that. Let's do some research and
Absolutely.
bring it back to the people. What do you think?
I love it. I think it's so good. And people in the chat are commenting about live polling and things that they use too. So I know this is a group that's totally on board with the gamification and active learning strategies.
That's awesome. And I don't want to forget Parker here. Parker, hello to you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And this has been another great opportunity for us to talk to someone right in the Ecamm family. Tatiana, there's tons of content creators. I do have more people coming on. Chris Stone is going to be coming on in October, and I'm working on it. Justin Brown coming back to the show. But it's nothing like having Ecamm family members that we've seen learn
Oh.
over time, being a part of the stream show. That's what the stream show is all about. So thank you so very much for your time. And guys, if you're here, you can also do something like that with Canva whiteboards. Great idea. So there you go. You can.
Yes,
You sure can.
true. Yes,
Uh,
Michelle, so many awesome tools, and we can start to build a little library of ideas, which is something that I want to do for educators anyway. And as I create those things, I want to be able to share them with the Ecamm community. So look forward to that.
and
And
the
hopefully January, I'm going to be launching my first. I'm going to call it. I think I'm going to call it. This is all a work in progress. This is all
okay,
like
let's
floating in
go.
my head, like the Adjunct Professor Academy, where people would come, and I'm thinking 3 days, 4 hours a day where they get to learn the process of active learning, understand its value, all the different things and the science and all the theory of it. Then they would need to prepare their content for their classes, for their courses, for their classes, and then the third day is about practicing it and actually having each other be each other's students and participants and running through and going through those strategies, taking the lead. And I'm hoping that I can actually incentivize college students to come and be participants on that third day as well. So
I like that.
these are the ideas in my mind and where I'm headed.
And then
So
at the end, you say, hey guys, you want to be able to do more stuff like this. I'm using a technology called Ecamm.
called
Here's my
Ecamm.
affiliate. And,
Oh
now
yeah,
not only are you people paying to be a part of it, but it gives you an audience to actually do some
sure.
affiliate marketing with as well. And I like it. But I will ask you one question.
Hmm.
I know there's a difference between a professor and an adjunct professor.
Hmm.
If you said the word professor without adjunct, would adjunct professors not want to participate?
Well, they are different, and I think it might more so be the other way around because professor, and it's a bit of a hot button item, but professors are mostly full-time, right? So, and
Right.
then a large part of those professors would be tenured track professors. So they've been at it for a long time and they have job security. Then
Right.
there's this other level, which is a full-time professor. In our university, it's called an NTT, non-tenured track professor. So they're full-time and they have benefits, but they don't have the security of the tenure.
Tenure.
And there are not a lot of opportunities for non-tenured track, and much fewer for tenured track professors. And so adjuncts has become a way for many reasons. Part of it is too is for people, not everyone wants to be a full-time professor, so it's an opportunity for people who have job experiences in other areas to come and teach a class in certain areas. But
So it's a
the
greater
distinct
pool of people, is what you're saying. Now is a larger pool of adjunct professors than there are tenured professors. Professors.
I know that at our school, a large percentage of classes are taught by adjunct professors versus
Gotcha.
full-time faculty, and the the pay is significantly less, right?
Right.
So and there's no security in that. So it's something that I talked about a bit on my channel too, just explaining what is an adjunct professor because some people might not know. And so there's at least in our university there aren't any health benefits. You're a subcontractor basically,
Gotcha.
and
Gotcha.
you get hired and released from your contract continuously. So there's a cycle to it as well. So there's no security. Your course can be canceled at any time, kind of a thing. So there are unions for adjuncts, and there's lots of ways to think about this. But like I said
And
in the very start of the show, this is like a calling on my heart
I
to do
love
it.
it.
Like
I love it.
teaching and education is just it's such a love, and the relationship with the students that I formed over the years is like nothing else I've experienced in my life. It's just something that's so mutually beneficial, and I have students coming back year after year, semester after semester, who say what a valuable experience it was to be in
That's
the
awesome.
classroom. So I know that I have great stuff to continue to share with everyone what's happening in the classroom with me.
Tatiana, you did two things on my show. You said, this is my niche, teaching adjunct professors how to do active learning, and you gave a date. You said in January for this academy. So the other
Yes.
gift that I have is that I'm an extremely great coach and
Yay.
someone that likes to remind people of what they said they were going to do.
That's
Now,
awesome.
my job to follow up with you through the holidays to see if you got this together, and everybody is watching this as well. I'm connected with Tatiana on LinkedIn. So if you haven't
Mhm.
connected with her on LinkedIn, please do that. Please connect with her, Tatiana Rodriguez. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
And you can connect with her and do the same thing I'm doing. Hey, we are looking for this academy, and how can we help be sure you get it off the ground, because it is a great idea. How
Oh,
else can
thank
people
you. I
get it?
appreciate the
No
encouragement.
problem. No problem. I know you could do it. So give us your YouTube channel as well.
Tatiana Teaches. All of my stuff is under Tatiana Teaches, except LinkedIn, which is Hello Tatiana Rodriguez. But Tatiana Teaches on YouTube is where you can find me.
That's awesome. And
Aw.
Patrick's just giving you some shout outs. A great teacher. Your students are lucky to have you. Thank you for sharing. And I echo those sentiments. Thank you so very much for coming and sharing this stuff. I didn't know, but now I know. And hopefully we can do some more stuff together to help people understand some great examples of how to do active learning and engage
Yes,
their audience while they are live. So thanks again for
absolutely.
coming on. Tatiana Teaches, and what's the other channel?
My LinkedIn is Hello Tatiana Rodriguez.
There you go. There you go.
But I think they're all cross linked. So if you go to one, you can find me on the other. But thank you so much for having me, Strick. What a
This
pleasure.
is
And thank you for
awesome.
playing along tonight.
Oh, I hope I won something. I don't know what it could be. Hey guys, next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you got me, DJ Strick, and yes, the stream show. I have Kirk Nugent coming by the studio, like he's gonna be in here with me. Well, that's
Oh,
the plan
physically
next Sunday.
together.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
so this is
physically together.
Oh,
physically
wait,
together.
so do
Yes,
you
this
guys
is a
live
joke. Yeah.
close to each other?
So we do. So he's actually traveling by. So when we were trying to figure out the show, he said he was going to be in the area, and why not come by and hang out in the stream show with me? So that's the idea. I got to make space for him. This television is only big enough for one person. So let's see what my background looks like next week. Okay.
Okay.
Hey
Okay.
guys, again, thank you for watching. Tatiana Ho, what you got? Hey, this is DJ Strick, and I would like to thank you for watching another edition of The Stream Show.